So, Star Wars next. This is from Inverse. Who's written this? Livy Scott. The next Star Wars movie is a historic first for the franchise, except it's not. There's Ray. Price drop alert at Temu. Something to do with the toilet. Bizarre. Anyway, after almost 5 years, the Star Wars saga is finally heading back to the big screen. Lucasfilm has a few promising films in the pipeline, but there's one in particular that will present a historical shift for the franchise. The untitled Star Wars sequel starring Daisy Ridley. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Ridley will reprise her role as Rey Palpatine. Spoilers. This time in a sequel set some 15 years after her last appearance in Star Wars The Rise of Palpatine. I'm not going to call it Skywalker. I refuse to call it Skywalker. Not much is known about the yet untitled film. Some have suggested it's going to be the new Jedi Order, but whatever. It's not going to happen anyway, I don't think. Other than its unique place in the Star Wars timeline. When next we see Rey, she'll be a fully fledged Jedi Master. I think she was. When we first met her, to be completely honest. She might even be teaching an all-new class of Jedi hopefuls in the ways of the Force. If all goes to plan, the film could further the downright radical ideas that the sequel trilogy first introduced. But that won't be the only interesting development. What the bloody hell are they talking about? But I've heard the story supposedly there's going to be maybe 2 sets of twins in this film, and one of them's going to be a goodie, and one of them's going to be a Jedi, one is going to be a Sith. In the 2 sets of twins, and they're going to get mixed up and all that. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. But Josh Temple says, see, the Sith won and Rey Palpatine is a Sith Lord. Yes. They're going to subvert our expectations. I mean, we saw her as a Sith, didn't we, in Rise of Palpatine, with the sharp teeth and everything, and her stupid penknife, whatever, lightsaber. Anyway, never mind. Lucasfilm's Rey movie will be helmed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. She's the first woman and the first person of colour to direct a Star Wars film. Technically correct. Although she's not the first woman or the first person of colour to direct Star Wars, because there's been quite a few, haven't there, now on Disney+. Anyway, and it's not a responsibility, but they're not movies, are they? And it's not a responsibility she takes lightly. Wingrace says, I don't know, that pregnant Rey pic that was floating around a few months ago grabbed my attention. Yeah, I don't think that was real, was it? You never know. But I still don't think they're making it. Speaking to CNN on New Year's Eve, Obaid-Chinoy confessed to feeling thrilled about the project and about the doors it could open for other female filmmakers. It's not about Star Wars anymore, is it? It's not about Star Wars. It's not about, I love Star Wars. I want to continue this story that George created 50 years ago, nearly. And, and I've loved Star Wars all my life, and I'm a big fan, and I just want to continue the stories in a galaxy far, far away drinking game. I can't be bothered. No, it's about, as was said over on Sidetrek, it's about the message. Echo. In it. That's all it is. That's what it's about. Right. I feel what we're about to create is something very special, the director mused. We're in 2024 now, except they want it with New Year's Eve. So you were lying then. Unless you meant they're in Australia or something like that. Or maybe she was via satellite and they were in 2024, wherever she was. I don't know. And it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away drinking game. Obaid-Chinoy's comments cut right to the heart of one of Lucasfilm's biggest blind spots. No Star Wars film has ever been helmed by a female director, though women have helped shape the saga from the very beginning. Star Wars wouldn't be what it is today without editor Marsha Lucas, that's true, or screenwriters Gloria Katz and Lee Brackett. True. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy has also been shepherding the company for years. Shepherding, what do you call it? Driving into the ground. That also, comes to mind. They're all about the message, but they don't get my message. What's your message, Sci-Fi Quest? What's your message? Be careful leaving messages, if that's what you're on about. Anyway, so there hasn't been a total dearth of female leadership, but, there should have been, shouldn't there? The female leadership they've had is a dearth, isn't it? Can't say it's been, good, can you? Although I like Force Awakens, and I love Rogue One, but after that it just goes all to pot, doesn't it? Anyway, for the most part, there are little nuggets of goodness in there, but F off with the bloody message is mine. All right, fair enough. Hang on, when I so salted the sheep is a shepherd, so wolves are shepherds now. Yes. Well, they're always picking on the sheep, aren't they? As in the audience, calling us ists. Quest is your message. Can't see it there. It is. Look. Yes, it is, I think. Anyway, where were we? That said, it's taken a while for that same inclusive impulse to trickle down to the director's chair. The franchise has made great strides on the small screen, but getting a female director's Star Wars film off the ground has proven more difficult. Don't forget, what's her face? I've forgotten her name already. The Wonder Woman director, who I think's super hot. She was supposed to be directing Rogue Squadron, wasn't she? But that didn't happen. For what it's worth, that seems to be the case across the board, according to a new report by USC Annenberg's Inclusion Initiative. Female directors are still struggling to score the same high-profile opportunities as their male contemporaries. Maybe they're not as good. Hot take. Out of the 116 highest-grossing films released in 2023, just 12.1% were helmed by women. That might seem surprising, as 2023 was the year of highly visible female-led stories. But the success of films like Barbie has proven to be the exception, while the industry's efforts to diversify film sets remains performative at best. Lucasfilm is just one of many studios behind the curve. They don't want to tell stories now, do they? Just want to, as I said, be activists. They're activists, aren't they? They don't want to tell stories. Lucasfilm is just one of many studios behind the curve. That's not meant to absolve the company, but to illustrate how much the industry as a whole still needs to improve. Hopefully, obey Chinoy's upcoming film that's not going to happen. Yes, Patty Jenkins, yes. Patty Jenkins, yes. That's the one. What I do think is super hot. So visible, no one went to see them. Yes, exactly. How many billions has Disney lost this year on its films that nobody went to see? Or few people. Anyway, a lot. They're not even, Universal overtook Disney, didn't they, in 2023? Universal became the most profitable studio. Anyway, hopefully Obey Chinoy's upcoming film will help change things for the better, but it's not going to happen. But Hollywood still has a long way to go before female-directed films are such a novelty. They're not, though. They're making out that, every time a film directed by a woman comes along, we should all be going, yay! But, no, if it's a good film, we'll go, yay! If it's not, we won't. People don't start running down the street and ringing bells when the female-directed film comes along, do they? They say, "Oh, that was a good film." Such as films like what we call now that bomb chap in Iraq. I forgot what they call it now. That won the Oscars. That was directed by a woman, wasn't it? James Cameron's ex. But no one was saying amazing. They said that was a good film. Anyway. Yes, yeah, another crap film. But anyway, we're sticking with this story. That was one side from Livy Scott, who's obviously, I presume, is a woman. I I'll say they are a woman. So she's from the woman's perspective there. She's all for it. Inclusion and diversity, etc. Equity. DEI. What are the companies? Is it BlackRock? Is it BlackRock? There's others as well, isn't there? That they basically give money to the studios, don't they? If the boxes are ticked. That's what they do. That's what they do. Hurt Locker. Yes, that's the one. Hurt Locker. So that was directed by, I can't remember her name, I've forgotten. You know what I'm like. That was directed by a woman, wasn't it? And I say, James Cameron's face when he didn't win and his ex-wife won, because we were up against her, wasn't it? Anyway, that year at the Oscars, because it must have been 2010. Must have been 2010, because Avatar were up as well, wasn't it, for an Oscar? Somehow, don't know why, but it was. But I like Avatar, but The Hurt Locker is a better film. Sci-Fi says, I love Daisy. She did a great job with what she was given. Yes, I've nothing against Daisy Ridley. I think she's great. I really like The Force Awakens. In hindsight, I like it less than when I first saw it, but it's still an enjoyable flick for the most part. I said, Last Jedi and Rise of Palpatine, they're just garbage, are they? But The Hurt Locker was 2008, wasn't it? Oh, right. I'm thinking of a different film. I don't know, but they were up. Avatar and The Hurt Locker, I'm sure, were up for the same Oscars thing, weren't they? And I thought Avatar came out in 2009, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyway, yes, I liked it before the others came out. Yes, it was a good start to the series, wasn't it? The sequel trilogy. Because it asked lots of questions, because that's what J.J. Abrams is good at. Setting up his mystery boxes. Asking questions. Who is this girl that nobody knows about? And it was even said in the film, when he bloody kicked off, did Kylo Ren and smashed all his stuff up. And he said, what girl? And same with Maz Kanata. You know, who's that girl? And then went into a Eurythmics song. But... as I set all that up, why did Anakin's lightsaber call to her? Don't know. We never were told this. Setting it all up and ignoring it. Anyway, Wingray says, never mind, it says The Hurt Locker 2008 film, but the release date says June 5th, 2000. All right. So, I know they were up. The Hurt Locker and Avatar were up for the same Academy Award, weren't they, at the Oscars, and she won it, did the director, whose name I forgot. Anyway, so, and they just threw it all away, didn't they, after The Force Awakens? I did have some problems with The Force Awakens, how did the Starkiller base destroy that, I forgot, the Hosnian system from Maz Kanata's planet, and they could see it and hear it as well from God knows how many light years away. And it got me angry as well on the Blu-ray, the commentary from J.J. Abrams, where he actually said people have complained about that bit, but he says, don't forget, Star Wars is not a documentary, it's a fantasy. And I thought, piss off! I got angry then. Bloody hate J.J. Abrams with his bloody joke glasses nose, and he needs a cigar, doesn't he? He looks just like Groucho Marx. Anyway, right. Sticking with this same story, we're at the World of Real now. I've no idea. I've never heard of this. Never heard of this website. But Wingray says the last Star Wars film I watched was The Last Jedi. So he went out on a low then. Behave, naughty. Sorry, my cat's being naughty. Rise of Skywalker. Watch The Rise of Skywalker. It's better than The Last Jedi. It's funny, unintentionally. It's mental. It's mental. But it's a lot more fun than Last Jedi. Give it a whirl. Go for it. Anyway, right, here we go. So here we are. What are we on? World of Real. Fanboy anger. By the way, Jordan Ruimi wrote this. Fanboy anger grows over director Shabin Obechinoi's upcoming feminist Star Wars. And there she is, Charmaine Obeid-Chinoy. By the way, Charmaine Obeid-Chinoy is the woman that famously said she likes making men feel uncomfortable. Actually, I've got that clip. Where are we? Here we are. There we go. Hang on. Right, there we go. Here we go. Are you listening to her? There's volume up. It is now.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
Imagine if a bloke said that. I enjoy making women feel uncomfortable. They'd have been flogged in the streets, wouldn't they? But, because it's a woman, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, back to the article. Yes, the rise of Palpatine, not the rise of Skywalker. Right, here we go. This is Jordan Ruimi speaking, by the way. It's written in the first person. I just don't understand how Disney, a powerful media entity, would entrust their most profitable IP into the hands of a documentary filmmaker who has barely directed any fiction. Can someone answer this? Yes, the only fiction she's directed, apart from so far, has been some episodes of Ms. Marvel, which we will cover in a moment. But she's a double Oscar winner for her documentaries. But like I say, she's an activist. A documentary about, women in Pakistan and all that stuff, women's rights and all stuff, which is cool and amazing. And she won awards for it. But why does that mean she can direct a Star Wars film? I don't know. Anyway, Sci-Fi Quest says, I enjoy making women uncomfortable. It's called foreplay. Oh my. Well, I need that. I need to know my clip, don't I? I don't have anything that'll do. But never mind. No, I haven't. Never mind. The only little clips I've got, but none of them are relevant. Still got that from Starship Troopers a few weeks ago. Never mind. Anyway, right. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Documentary filmmaker was barely directed any fiction. Can someone answer this? Yes! Charmaine Obeid-Chinoy was chosen to direct the next Star Wars movie, The Jedi Order, or New Jedi Order, or whatever, which will have Daisy Ridley's Rey back in fray. Obeid-Chinoy was one of 5 directors on Ms. Marvel, which I didn't mind Ms. Marvel, to be completely honest. It was okay. And every other film she has made has been a documentary. To make matters worse, speaking to CNN, Obeid-Chinoy raised the ire of Star Wars fans. She was briefly asked about her upcoming Star Wars movie. By the way, about Ms. Marvel. So one of 5 directors on Ms. Marvel. The episodes that she directed apparently were almost entirely reshot. I wouldn't miss those machine gun jubblies, unlike Austin. Machine gun jubblies. Ms. Marvel, right. Yes, apparently they were reshot almost entirely. According to Cameron Pasha. Is he still knocking about? I haven't seen him for a while. But where is it? Down here somewhere? Here we go. Cameron Pasha, is a writer and producer, and I think he may be a director as well, but a writer and producer, isn't he? And on some, pretty high-profile stuff in Hollywood. So he used to be on like Doomcock and Midnight's Edge and things like that. But I haven't seen him for a while, so maybe he's just busy. I don't know. Anyway, according to Pasha, the 2 episodes Charmaine Obeid-Chinoy directed at Marvel with the Ms. Marvel Disney Plus series had to be reshot entirely. Ms. Marvel is also the least watched Marvel series on Disney Plus, and Iman Vellani, blah, 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 blah. And this is what Cameron Pasha says. Charmaine Obeid-Chinoy, a fellow Pakistani, I'm Pakistani, and who has won a couple of Oscars for documentaries. She's never made a feature film right. explains Pasha. I have friends of mine who have won awards for documentaries and tried to break into features. Completely different animal. He continues, they know how to interview people, they know how to edit footage. That's what a documentary is. They don't necessarily know how to get an actor on their mark, or do special effects, or create dialogue that's convincing, that's not from an interview, that's a whole other skill set. Then he goes on, so this woman has never done a feature film. You're going to give her $200 million, $300 million. The only dramatic experience she has was she was given 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel, and I have multiple friends who work in Ms. Marvel and said, yeah, they had to reshoot the whole thing. Didn't work because she didn't know what she was doing. So there we go. But that's from Cameron Pasha. I don't know if it's true or not. I suppose you put it in the rumour mill, but he's in Hollywood, and he's Cameron Pasha. So maybe he does know, maybe it's true. But as, is it Gary at Nerdrotics always saying, they don't hire directors, they cast directors at Disney, don't they? And Lucasfilm. They cast them. Same with Marvel. They don't want, hang on, where are we? There we go. They don't want, good directors who have got a body of work behind them. They want directors that will make headlines, such as, the first woman of colour to direct a Star Wars film, or I think with in Marvel, I think with the Eternals. I can't remember the name of the director, but she was the first woman of colour to, she was Chinese. I don't know how that works, but never mind. To direct, a Marvel film, she'd won an Oscar, hadn't she, for that other film, and went on to make the Eternals, which a lot of people didn't like. I didn't mind it. It was an okay fantasy, not a very good Marvel film. But yes, they go for the people they can control rather than a proper auteur, which is why you get people. Why it's odd that something like Sam Raimi would take a Marvel job when he's seen what's happened with people like the fellow that did Doctor Strange, whose name I've forgotten. He also did like horror films, Sinister and stuff like that, didn't he? And I've forgotten his name. And he did this week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear film, the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I can't remember his name. But he did Doctor Strange, and they were going to do the second Doctor Strange film, and then, creative differences. So that's where they got Sam Raimi in, didn't they? So I'm surprised he's stuck with them, to be completely honest. Anyway, Wingrace says, unless they are planning this Star Wars movie to be a faux documentary, it could be found footage or something like that. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? A found footage Star Wars film. That's an idea, isn't it? It'd be like Troops, wouldn't it? That was a faux documentary, wasn't it? Remember Troops? Probably the best Star Wars fan film, in my opinion, is Troops. Cool. Anyway. Where were we? I forgot where we were now. Here we go. Yes. To make matters worse, speaking to CNN, Obaid Chinoy raised the ire of Star Wars fans. She was briefly asked about her upcoming Star Wars movie, which she states will be something very special, that it's about time a female director leads one of these movies. I'm very thrilled about the project because I feel what we're about to create is something very special, and we're in 2024 now, and it's that what we just saw before. Way to read the room, Lucasfilm. Obadia Chinoy is also flat out wrong. Has she even seen any of the Star Wars movies? Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia played a major role in the first 3 films. More recently, actress Felicity Jones headlined Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and of course there's Rey. Don't forget all the other female characters that are, Ahsoka and Hera and Katie Sackhoff's character, what's the face in The Mandalorian. Loads of women. There's all women in it. The Force is female, after all. AFK, sorry, it makes some of the best Star Wars fan stuff, in my opinion. I think I've seen some of them. I think you pointed us to some a while ago. There's some good stuff, yeah. Like I say, Troops, though. That's a high bar. Anyway, over at Star Wars Newsnet, Rob Leonardo, or is it just Leonardo? Don't know, had this to say about Obey Chinoy's comments. This is a disappointing statement from Charmine. If her focus is that she is a woman directing a Star Wars film, her focus is in the wrong place. If she was attempting to get the fans excited, she likely has done the opposite. This endless quest for virtue signalling has to end. Make a good film, Charmine. Blow the audience away. Bring Star Wars back to the centre of entertainment with a movie so engaging, exciting, and well made it will leave audiences and critics cheering. Do that, and you can talk about being a woman all you want, and people will cheer. Yes. Until then, please stop sounding like you are working in Disney's PR department with a focus on diversity and equity. Exactly. That's 100% accurate, and I agree. Captain Phasma, yes, and a very important role. Lol, yes, that were a waste of time, wasn't it? That were a waste of time. With her stormtrooper suit made from metal from a Naboo starfighter or star cruiser or something, like we saw in Phantom Menace. For some reason. Anyway, I'm sure it were in, because they had a book, didn't they, about her? What it called, Phasma? Maybe it explained in that. I don't know. I'm not ready. Anyway, I just don't get how out of all the qualified directors out there and in desperate need of steering the sinking ship back into place, Disney decided to hire a person known for their documentaries. They don't see it as a sinking ship. That's the trouble. They see, Force Awakens, 2 billion, Last Jedi, $1.5 billion, and the other one, Rise of Palpatine, just over $1 billion. And they see that as a success for some reason, even though they went from like 2 billion to 1 billion in 3 films. And Rogue One, that over $1 billion as well. And they don't notice Solo losing all that money. That's an outlier, is Solo for them. But they still think they're doing great work. That's what they do, because they live in this bubble where they're all slapping each other on the back and saying how great they all are. Acolyte, where a Jedi Master only fights hand to hand and the Sith Assassin learns to fight hand to hand to kill the Jedi Master. Yeah, that's going to be great, isn't it? I'm surprised that got made. I'm surprised it got finished, because there were a lot of talk that they'd only been given so much money just to do like a what they call it, I can't remember what they call it now, something real, like a preview, but apparently it's done, innit? I do think they noticed Solo. They canned all the recasts and origins they were planning. Well, that was Bob Iger, wasn't it? That was Bob Iger that put his foot down, didn't he? As I said, they see it as an outlier, don't they? So, and Bob Iger says, we're going to take a step back. But then Kathleen Kennedy keeps opening a big fat gob and saying, oh, no, we're doing Rogue Squadron and we're doing all these other things. And, there are all these... Taika Waititi's going to get a film, and Ryan Johnson's getting a trilogy, and all this stuff. And apparently she'd been told to stop announcing films, but she doesn't care, because apparently, she thinks she is untouchable. Behave yourself, you. Are you being naughty? She is. Me cat. So, but as I said, they live in this bubble where they're just patting each other on the back all the time, so they don't think they're doing any wrong. For the most part. Anyway. Where were we? Right, I just don't get how out of... I've done that one, haven't I? Who is Obey Chinoy? She's a Pakistani-Canadian filmmaker who directed a few episodes of Disney's Miss Marvel, which, according to Cameron Pasha, got entirely reshot. And is also known for her activist work in films that, according to Wikipedia, highlight gender inequality against women. There hasn't been an actual Star Wars movie since 2019's The Rise of Palpatine, a planned trilogy from The Last Jedi director Ryan Johnson, originally announced in 2017, was put in the back burner. It's not in the back burner at all. It's just not happening. Also, a few months ago, Star Wars projects from Benioff and Weiss. Oh, I forgot about them. The Game of Thrones chaps Kevin Feige, yeah, forgot about him as well. And Patty Jenkins were nixed by Lucasfilm CEO Kathleen Kennedy. She said the Kevin Feige one was never going to happen, even though they'd announced it on their own Star Wars show on YouTube, hadn't they? The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Windgrace says, I'll take a trilogy if they're looking for more inexperienced people. Yes, but I think you're the wrong sex, mate. You have to go and have a gender reassignment, and then you might get a job at Lucasfilm. Important announcement: we're making and cancelling all these Star Wars projects. Yes, remember she did that big announcement with all the things on the screen behind her, didn't they? There was other stuff apart from Star Wars, wasn't that? Was it Children of Blood and Bone or something like that? This big announcement that's supposed to be a pet project, wasn't it? That she wanted made, and then for some reason, did their contract or something lapse? You know, there were no progress made on it, and it's ended up being made by somebody else, but it Amazon or somebody like that. Anyway. There are plenty of fans who are still upset with how the last trilogy turned out, which has put a major dent on the entire franchise. Star Wars has lost many diehards who vowed never to return. They would rather re-watch Lucas's prequels on repeat. My best guess is that Obey-Chinoy's upcoming film, set to shoot later this year, will not reconvert them. I don't think it's going to happen. Either it's not going to happen, or it'll just be a Disney Plus film. It'll just be a special event Star Wars movie. First time ever a Star Wars movie's premiered on Disney Plus. That's what's going to happen. Bet it does, and it'll have a really low budget, $50 million top. Bet it does. And it'll be like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes at most. I bet it is. I noticed that they cancelled all the projects that the fans wanted. I said, we just want good Star Wars. That's what we want. I said, The Mandalorian started off well, didn't it? Seasons 1 and 2 were fine. They weren't amazing, but, they were fine. They did have some problems. They weren't perfect, but they were okay. But then it all went to pot, didn't it? Season 3, Kenobi. That was rubbish. Book of Boba Fett, that was rubbish. They just can't get stuff right, can't they? Ahsoka were just boring. It started off well. I liked the first couple of episodes of Ahsoka, but it just sort of just fizzled out, didn't it? It was just rubbish. Anyway, so there we go. So I've got that off my chest. We can move on now. Just make good Star Wars, please. Never mind a message, never mind, DEI, never mind ticking boxes. Just write and make a good Star Wars film. In the spirit of what George Lucas created. $50 million budget. When the budget is released, it'll be $500 million. Apparently, that's what Force Awakens cost, isn't it? It's come out, hasn't it? Sometime last year or whatever, that the actual budget for Force Awakens was something around $500 million.